psychological thriller called Bad Influence will have everyone talking again, I'm sure. Please welcome Rob Lowe. Okay, let's start at the beginning.
Okay, yeah. All right.
I'm not the only one at fault. I mean, there are your Jay Leno's out there, and but I did a lot of jokes. I did a lot of Rob Lowe jokes. And when they told me you were coming, I was shocked. I'm wondering still, why are you here? You know? Because you know I was evil. I was evil.
I'm wondering the same thing myself. I'm saying, maybe I should go. Yeah, but you know, it's like I was in the news, and you know, that's what you do. You pick up the paper, and you see who's in the news, who's stepped in the mud, and who's screwed up, and you make jokes. That's part of what you do. And you know, you and I have been friends before.
Yeah.
And I figured that I'd come out.
Well, no, see, Rob and I, we used to hang out, you know.
I know, and it got kind of. Well, a little ugly.
Yeah, you know, some things happen, you know, and...
But I figured it was time to come out and, you know, bury the hatchet. It's, the question is, where am I going to bury the hatchet?
Oh, good. In all honesty, how did it... That's a funny line. Bury the hatchet. Where am I going to bury it? Let's talk seriously. It did get crazy and at your expense. How did you feel when you were turning on all these shows and from E.T. to the talk show hosts, everybody was having fun at Rob's expense?
Well, thing is I didn't have anybody to blame but myself, you know. It'd be easy to sit back and go, oh, these guys are having a lot of fun at my expense, but, you know, I got myself into a situation. And, you know, when you screw up, make a mistake, you have nobody to blame but yourself. So I was angry at me more than I was angry at anybody else, because a lot of people were just doing their jobs, reporting the news. Some people went too far with it, certainly. But at the same point, you know, it's I made a mistake, man. I have to live with it. And you have to admit it. It's part of being a man.
Yeah. When you say some people went too far, at what point did you say that to yourself? This is out of control. This is crazy.
About the time the helicopters were flying over the house and waiting outside of my driveway. No. This was the subtlest move they did. They hired a lookalike to run around outside my wall, and they hired this guy who looked like me to run into a car and act like he didn't want to hear reporters, and then the guy mooned the camera crew. And so then, you know, I don't think it ever aired, thank goodness. I think they finally, you know, drew the line. But, you know, you guys might have thought that was me, you know, and that's no fun.
What was their purpose for doing that? See, I not only knew that happened, but I know who did it, because there's a gentleman, Bill, on my staff, who's a crack journalist. He gets me all the 411. And it was Current Affair that did that. I mean, you might not want to say anything.
No, it was Current Affair, and, you know, it's funny, I went to the Knicks game the other day, and I'm sitting there with this empty seat next to me on the floor, and I'm thinking, man, this must be for the Pope. They leave an empty seat, guy comes in to sit down, and it's Maury Povich. Sitting next to me. I said, well, we are gonna go round and round.
Yeah.
But I just said, you know, look, it's not you. I'm sure you're a nice guy and everything. It's just the show that I have a problem with.
What was their purpose for doing that, though? Just to make you look bad, or...?
I think anytime somebody has a certain level of success, people like to tear them down a little bit. But hey, you know, look, I blew it in a sense. So, in a way, it's deserved, and in a way, it's just like it starts feeding on itself. the thing that I didn't like about the whole thing was, I live here, and I turned on the local news one night, and I was the lead story behind Tiananmen Square and behind the McMartin preschool trial. That's just not right, it's wrong.
Yeah, our priorities are a little confused in the world of journalism.
It gets a little crazy, but like I said, it's a crazy business, and I got myself into it. Got to get myself out.
Yeah, let's take a commercial. Come right back with Rob. During all this craziness that was going on, is there any particular moment that stood out most in your mind?
Well, I got a lot of support from people you wouldn't otherwise expect. One day I was jogging down at Hollywood High School out on the track there, and this car slows up. This guy's kind of, checking me out, and I said, oh, here it is. It's either paparazzi or some religious zealot who's going to, try and assassinate me or I don't know what. So I'm going, whew. And the guy rolls down the window and says, hey! And I look over, and he just goes, keep your chin up, and drove off. And I didn't know this guy, and, it wasn't like he wanted to relate to, it wasn't fan or star and that kind of thing. It was, human being and human being, relating to one another. And it was really nice. Those moments they helped me a lot.
I'm surprised you even went to the track to run. I would think this thing would change your life and cause you to become a recluse,
But what kind of person would you be if you were a recluse? I mean, that's what keeps our humanity, is meeting other people, meeting, butting heads with people and sharing experiences, especially for an actor.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to play a real person. If you secluded yourself away from real people, you'd only be able to play secluded people.
So at no moment did you want to just hide out?
No, I did hide out. I mean, I hid out. I couldn't leave my house. I had camera crews outside for 5 days. Yeah. And finally, I found a way to climb down my ravine.
Mm.
I did. I was like one of those coyotes. Is that a coyote, honey? No, it's Rob Lowe. Oh, fine. Shoot him. And so I'm scampering down, and I made a getaway from my house, and then I just kind of tried to live my life once it cooled down.
Yeah. There are probably a lot of people, you'd be surprised how many people don't read and have no idea what we're talking about. It goes all the way back to Atlanta. 2 women, you decided to videotape your sexual experience that night, and let's get ready.
I'm ready to talk.
That's how it all began.
No.
I don't know. Probably more people than we really realize have done it, have videotaped their sexual experiences, but you're a public figure. How did it all happen? What made you do it?
I wish that I could give you like a really good answer. It's one of those things where, it's an aberration. It's just something where the next thing you go, wow, did I do that? Did I do what I did? And I think everybody goes through it on a certain level, one way or another, like we were just talking about.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. Bad judgment.
Oh yeah. It was bad judgment, a mistake, but in a way, it served me well because it forced me to look at myself and to make me grow up a lot. I was, 24, and I'd had a good career, and I'd worked very hard to get where I'd gotten, but I'd never faced any sort of adversity like this. And hopefully never again.
Yeah.
But it served me well in that I sunk, no pun intended, pretty low.
Yeah.
And, so, that's when you meet yourself. It's like, oh, Rob Lowe, meet Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
When it's real bad.
At what point did you learn that it went public? What were you doing? Where were you?
I was promoting the new movie Bad Influence before we had shot it in the south of France, the Cannes Film Festival.
And so you were away.
Yeah, I was out of the country.
And you were promoting the film before you even shot?
Well, you know, you meet the foreign investors, and you talk about how good the movie's going to be, which is completely a lie because you haven't even shot the movie.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what I was doing.
This is a perfect transition. Bad Influence. I've seen the movie, and congratulations on the critiques of the movie.
Thank you. Thank you.
They handed me a bunch of stuff today, like a stack of things like this, and critics really like the movie.
Yeah. It's nice.
Bad Influence. It's about videotaping sex.
Well, no,
partially.
Partially, yeah. I mean, it plays a part. And what the media has really latched onto about it, because it is kind of the easy angle, what I do in the movie is I want to blackmail somebody. So I videotape them. But, and sure, it has an irony in what I've gone through, but if I didn't videotape them to record them, what would I use? I mean, that's what the FBI uses. That's what people use. I mean, you wouldn't use a sound recording. So that's really as far as it goes. You know, it exists in our society. The technology is there, but it is an irony. There's no question.
Yeah. And this whole script existed long before this thing went public.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's, you know, movies are mirrors of life.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes art and life cross, and that's when it gets a little strange and a little weird, you know.
Did you at any point think, now I don't think I want to do that movie, Bad Influence?
No, in fact, I thought, now I really want to do the movie Bad Influence because it is a way to channel all of my energies into something positive. Instead of sitting around worrying or kicking myself or kicking the media or kicking whoever, it was a chance to concentrate on what should be the debate, on my acting. You know, that should be the focus. And so I was real happy to have it.
Okay, we got more conversation with Rob Lowe and clips from Bad Influence, and